Hey everyone, welcome to The Alternates, a basketball show for the others where we like to showcase independent music and discuss all things basketball. We've got a really fun show lined up for you today. We're going to be checking out the headliners as we go into All-Star Weekend. Speaking of All-Star Weekend, we've been teasing it. It's time to stop teasing.
It's here.
Time to start pleasing. We are naming our 2022 Alt Stars.
Yes.
Very excited to see who's been picked for this year's Alt Stars. And then, of course, it's Friday, which means we are going to the Casino of Clayton All-Star Edition Bet Brains. Can't wait to put some money down there. All that and more coming up right after the song, which is a Cambio by Accidente out of Madrid, Spain, off their 2014 Amistad y Rebellion LP on Halo of Flies Records. Just some fun, very catchy political punk to start off the show.
Can't wait.
What is up, y'all? Welcome to the show. We, of course, are The Alternates. I am your host, Brian Cullen, and with me is everyone's favorite, Clayton Stevens. Clayton, I just got to say, hey now, you're an all-star.
Oh, thank you.
Get your game on. Go play.
I'll try.
Okay, I appreciate the try. Before we get into our first segment, I just want to take a quick second, ask you if you have not done so yet already, please subscribe to the channel on YouTube. That's youtube.com/thealternates. We are so close to 200. We're only 90 away. So right now, we just need 90 people right now to hit subscribe, and we're there. And if you're watching us on YouTube, like that video, get violent with that like button, smash it, beat it, throw it through a wall, whatever it takes.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Gotta do what you gotta do. If you're not catching us on YouTube and you are listening to the podcast, whatever that platform is that you're catching us on, remember to hit subscribe so you can stay up to date with all things alts. And of course, if there is an option for a rating and review, leave us one of those and I will read it on the show. You can make it as weird or as off-putting as you could possibly imagine, and I will read it on the show.
He's not afraid. I'm telling you
That's
guys.
a challenge.
He's not afraid.
And then if you want to get a hold of us, you can do so by emailing us, thealternatehoop@gmail.com. You can follow us on TikTok, where I recently put a video of us in flames as I took my absolute victory lap for the Celtics play. Don't look at their last game. Mm-hmm. And then you can always, that is at the Alternates NBA. I guess I should put the name out there. Yeah. And then you can always contact us by leaving a comment in the comment section of the video, like our friend Garrett did right here. Garrett said, Anthony Edwards is the future, full stop. And then he said, so glad you guys are talking about him. I'm glad we're talking about him too.
We'll talk about Ant anytime.
Yeah, just a lovable guy.
Lovable.
Maybe the greatest ant on the face of the earth.
He's one of the top 3 ants on the earth for sure.
He's definitely in the top 3 ant category. Clayton, How are you?
I'm well. It's been an interesting NBA week. We are officially in that malaise between the post-trade deadline, pre-All-Star break. There are some strange games and strange outcomes of these games happening.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about malaise, and the one team that has had the most malaise doesn't have a single player in the All-Star game, and that's the New York Knicks, who blew an 18-point fourth quarter lead to the completely starless Nets. First of all, I just want to say I'm so glad that they got just dunked into the C League on the last episode. I can't with these Knicks, dude. I can't, not calling a timeout is a war crime while Cam Thomas is cooking your team.
Cam Thomas was absolutely destroying the Knicks single-handedly in the fourth quarter. And then something that just really struck me was at the end of the game, you've already blown the lead, and Bruce Brown himself gets 3 offensive rebounds over Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle, people that are much bigger and stronger than him. It was just the will to win, the will to want the ball, to make it happen for his team. And the Knicks are just the complete opposite right now.
Yeah, it's going to be a wild offseason for them, but we obviously can't keep ourselves away from this first segment. So let's just jump straight into it. It's time for headliners.
Yep.
So we got some headlines here. I want to get some takes from you. First one's an interesting one. The NBA and the Players Association are reinstating Tyreke Evans after a 2-year suspension for violating the league's drug policy. Is he going to play? What do you think?
This is an interesting story, right? Because I think a lot of people, myself included, sort of forgot about Tyreke Evans. Not in the I literally forgot who he was. It was just he's been suspended for 2 years. That's why he's not playing.
Yeah. I saw the name and I was like, oh, right, it was the suspension. I just assumed that he did the Homer Simpson fade into the hedge.
Exactly, right? And then it makes you think he had that nice little run. But when you really think back and you look back on it, 2017-18, he went to Memphis. He had a really good year. He was scoring 19 points a game, shooting 40% from three, being really efficient, heater off the bench type of guy. Next year, 2018-19, he goes to Indiana. The numbers fall off a cliff. He's at 10 points a game. The efficiency falls off, all of that. So there's a little bit of intrigue here, I think, right? A guy who's capable of giving you 20 points a night. Yeah. We've seen reports he's been working out in Miami, right?
Yeah, that's the most interesting part of all of this, is he's been working out in Miami with John Wall and Michael Beasley. Now, we don't know what the actual violation was that caused the suspension, but with the time that he was given, we know for sure it wasn't due to being taking steroids.
Yes.
And then with the league basically saying you can smoke weed if you're a player, it's all good. We know it wasn't weed. My next thought is maybe it was blow. Maybe he was partying a little too hard and got caught doing it. He obviously failed more than one drug test to make this happen. And if my inclination is correct, Miami is hands down the worst place you could possibly be if you got caught doing blow. And I think John Wall and Michael Beasley might be the 2 worst dudes you could be chilling with. Such a thing.
No, that part is certainly interesting. If you want to look at it from a half full perspective, maybe Miami's interested in him. We know that they love to rehab guys and get them into shape and stuff like that. But
it's possible, but it's Miami. It's like saying any player you see in LA is going to sign to an LA team. These are just the 2 warmest markets you could be in the middle of February, right? So it could be. I also think that's just where guys are. You're either LA or Miami because you want to be warm and be in a fun city.
Yeah, so he's a name to look out for if there's an injury or something like that. We may be seeing his name again.
Okay, well, I got a name for you to look at right now. It's Patrick Beverley. The Timberwolves give Patrick Beverley a 1-year extension for $13 million. What's your take on this move?
This is awesome. This is awesome for the Wolves. Obviously, we just kind of hyped them up in our last episode and hyped up Patrick Beverley specifically and how much he's brought to the culture there. But we're starting to see, in fact, we're past starting to see, it's a pattern now. Wherever Patrick Beverley goes, these teams make the playoffs at least. They take a big jump in their effort and the way that they play as a team. So he certainly deserves this extension here. This is a guy who bought out his own contract in Russia just to play in the NBA, and now he's made over $70 million in salary here. So just the kind of guy you can root for, at least on that level, if not on the court.
Yeah, I don't think too many people are rooting for Patrick Beverley, if I'm being honest. But
yeah,
I love to see it. I love that you mentioned that he affects the culture, because I think that what he does is he enters locker rooms. And if there was a locker room in the NBA that needed somebody to come in and say, no, we need to be pesky, there needs to be a like never say die mentality here, it was the Wolves. And he's done that. And they have, as we outlined in the last episode, quietly becoming kind of a scary team.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to go to Chicago, where DeMar DeRozan becomes the first player in NBA history to score 35 points or more and shoot at least 50% in 7 consecutive games, passing Wilt Chamberlain.
This is outrageous. Anytime you have someone scoring over 30 points, it's notable. Anytime you have someone scoring 30 points in consecutive games, it's notable, let alone with this kind of efficiency, and the team is getting a bunch of wins. Crazy story here from DeMar.
It is. And I have an issue with this, and it's because it is a crazy story from DeMar, and it's a crazy story without creating some record to be broken, right? Like, it's just, this is said, like, when was none of us were aware that Wilt Chamberlain had this record or this title, and then DeMar does it. This is one of my biggest pet peeves with the NBA, is just somebody does something and then you have to dive in to find out that only one other person has done this to make it interesting. No, it's fucking interesting. The guy is so efficient right now on a team that keeps getting hit but won't back down from anything. He's playing so well. I'm just so tired of this comparison or fake records or fake stats. Just let it be impressive, because it's impressive. It doesn't need a backstory to it.
I totally understand that, but look, I actually find this one to be very interesting from, if you just look at the positions. Wilt Chamberlain, 7-footer who played in an era without the 3-second in the key rule. Yeah. He was 2 feet from the basket, just dunking it in front of guys who were not as tall as him. And DeMar DeRozan, he's a shooting guard. He's getting these off of 15-foot jumpers. Like, to have this kind of efficiency and score this many points at that position, and to be compared to a center like Wilt Chamberlain, who dominated so much in his era, it just shows how impressive it is.
Yeah, I guess, and maybe it can be an accent to it, but the storyline is he breaks a record, and that's my biggest issue with it. And like you're saying, they're two completely different players, completely different eras. Stop comparing people. Just let it be impressive on its own.
That's fair.
I mean, if DeMar scores 101 points in a game, I'll give you that. We can talk about that, but until that happens, I'm sick of the made-up records in history here. Okay. Let me take a deep breath, because I'm getting worked up now. I got one more for you. It's kind of a controversial one. So Commissioner Adam Silver, in an interview recently, said that the New York City vaccine rule, quote unquote, doesn't quite make sense. He caught a lot of heat for this one. What's your take on it?
My take here is that I think Adam Silver just didn't say this in a headline-friendly way, but what he's actually saying makes a lot of sense. Look, we know that other players who are not employed by a New York team are allowed to come into Barclays and allowed to come into Madison Square Garden and play because they are not on a New York team or employed by a New York team. And so for Kyrie, it just doesn't make any sense, right? So yeah. I agree with Adam Silver here that there needs to be consistency with this rule, and if other players are allowed to come in, Kyrie should be allowed to play as well, or they should make the rule like, if you're not vaccinated, you can't play in New York City, period.
Yeah, I think that's where it is. That's what it needs to be, because yeah, I could be unvaccinated, go play against the Knicks at Madison Square Garden, and it's perfectly fine, but Kyrie can't because he's in a different borough as an employee. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Yeah. And I'm not saying get rid of the mandate. I'm saying make the mandate make sense. Put some consistency behind it.
Yep.
And I think that all the heat that Adam Silver caught here was due to the aggregate and people just reading a clickbaity headline without actually looking into what he is saying.
I couldn't agree with you more on that one.
All right. Got worked up during headliners there.
Yeah, we did a little bit.
Well, those are the headlines going into the All-Star break, which is happening starting tonight.
Yep.
But we've been, as we said at the top, we've been teasing this. We've been talking about it. In true The Others fashion, we are going to be picking The Others in Alt Stars, the first annual Alt Stars.
Yep.
So we each picked a team of All-Stars, and we followed a pretty simple rule here when picking the teams. And that is, there is no fucking rule in picking the teams. No criteria whatsoever. If you like them, they're in.
Yep.
So we are going to stick to a little bit of a formula here from All-Stars, and we are going to have a very special guest come in and announce the two teams.
Yep.
This is very exciting for me.
Really exciting.
Can't believe we got this guy. Common is going to be announcing the 2022 All-Stars. So we should probably be bringing him.
Yeah, are you getting that too?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm hearing that. So our producer is telling us right now that Common will not be announcing the Alt-Stars.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's been booked for every single commercial that's ever been made under the face of the sun, and apparently is also booked to play insignificant roles in every movie ever made for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
I guess that puts it on us. We're going to have to announce the Alt-Stars. What the hell?
What?
How the hell did you just... Why did you just...
Look, I figured if we're going to be doing Alt-Stars, it seems like at this point we're going to need to announce, we need to look the part, we need to look sharp.
Okay, then I guess we have to look the part.
You look great.
So do you, my friend.
Thanks. Of course, suits provided by Prada. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, well, I guess it's time to announce. Who do you got coming in for us?
All right, so if
Hold on. If we're going to do this, we got to do this right.
I'm with you.
Let's cue the music. I know you're living out a dream here. Let's cue the reverb. Clayton, give me the Clayton All-Stars.
You're right. I'm going to live out my dream right now of being an in-arena announcer. Brian, give me a little bit of reverb here as I announce Clayton's 2022 All-Stars. Your head coach in his 4th season from Northern Iowa University, one-time NBA champion and 2020 Coach of the Year, Canada's favorite guitar virtuoso, Nick Nurse.
Wow, I love this pick as a head coach for the Alt-Stars. He is an absolute ripper on the 6th string. Hopefully he's going to be an absolute ripper for this Alt-Star team that's coming out right now.
And your captain, a 6'7" point guard from Chino Hills, California, by way of both Lithuania and Australia, star of Facebook's semi-hit reality show Ball in the Family, the only player who matches his jackets to his Lamborghinis in his 2nd season for the Charlotte Hornets, it's LaMelo Ball.
Wow, absolute incredible pick for the captain here. This young man has a very busy weekend ahead as he will be playing in both the All-Star and the Alt-Star game.
And at shooting guard, standing 6'3", 22 years old, from the University of Kentucky in his 2nd season for the lowly New York Knicks, the purveyor of Spike Lee's favorite floater, one of the only players anyone genuinely enjoys watching on the Knicks, Immanuel Quickley.
Immanuel Quickley, great pick here for the team. You know, I wonder if the house band can actually play Float On by the Floaters as he enters the floor.
And at small forward, 6'4", from the University of Miami, 25 years old by way of Boston, Massachusetts, in his 4th season, the most random guy to ever reinvent the short roll, one of the league's most unique players. It's Brooklyn's favorite son, Bruce Brown Jr.
Bruce Brown Jr. makes the team, and he might have just done that off of his last game. The tallest man under 7 feet tall. Love this pick for the team.
And at power forward, 6'9", from the University of Washington, with a full sleeve and hand tattoos, Rain City's Dark Prince, in his 2nd season for the Minnesota Timberwolves, Jaden McDaniels.
This is a left field pick. I'm cutting the reverb here. Clayton, why Jaden McDaniels?
You know, Jaden McDaniels, like I said, he's got the full sleeve hand tattoos. He dresses in all black a lot. He's got a cool alt look from Seattle. Just a cool alt-star who has great dunks, too.
Okay, no criteria, so I'll take it. Who's next?
And at 6'7", from the University of Louisville, North Carolina's favorite underdog, known for his eccentric taste in shoes and clothes, one-time NBA Sixth Man of the Year in his 7th season, currently playing for his home state, Charlotte Hornets, the NBA's Poet Laureate, Montrezl Harrell.
Well, if there was one thing this team was missing, it was a true emo, and they got one here with this pick in Montrezl Harrell. Will there be a fight in the middle of the game? I guess we'll find out.
And lastly, but certainly not leastly, the 6th man. It's the underground GOAT, standing at 6'1", Atlanta's prodigal son, 3-time NBA Sixth Man of the Year, the all-time leading scorer off the bench, the Magic City legend whose house has its own zip code. From South Gwinnett High School in his 18th season, your favorite player's favorite player, Lemon Pepper Lou Williams.
Lou Will, the underground GOAT. He has been snubbed year after year in the All-Star game. Changing it up here at the Alt-Stars. No snubs.
And that concludes Clayton's 2022 Alt-Stars.
Wow, Clayton, I love this team you put together.
Thank you so much. Yeah, really proud of this team. Really excited to see who you picked for the Alt-Stars here.
Well, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Hit me with that reverb. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the 2022 Brian's Alt-Stars. At head coach, he looks like he starts every day with a black coffee and a disgusting double IPA. He might be the only craft beer bro that I want to hang out with. The Titan of Tennessee, Taylor Jenkins.
Wow, really bold pick. Taylor Jenkins' first time in the Alt-Star game. He looks like he may be developing an ulcer. It's crazy because he's only 38 years old. Doesn't make any sense.
Your team captain, this jolly giant, brought me to the red carpet in a baby Bjorn. He once recorded the highest PER ever in a single game, proving just how useless stats are. Standing at exactly 9 feet tall, don't look it up. This is the succulent Serbian Boban Marjanovic.
Wow, great pick for Boban here. Obviously a fan favorite. Many-time Alt-Star. I'm sure he'll have many more to come. Of course he's the captain.
He's one of the most polarizing players in the league. Undrafted, he bought out his own contract in Russia to take a shot at the NBA. Among other reasons we didn't invite Karl Malone, this guy was voted most likely to bite the mailman, Comrade Patrick Beverly.
Wow, very interesting pick here, but I think him getting that double tech before the tip-off the other night was just enough to get him in this game. Spend a little of that $13 million extension, Pat. We love to see it.
And next, this young man sets style standards both on and off the court. His looks have challenged every hetero-cis male to the core. Whatever you do, don't look him directly in the eyes because you might just get lost. Kelly Oubre.
For all these streetwear fans out there, this is a huge win. The first guy to wear Supreme on the court, one of the most beautiful players in the NBA. Great choice here for Kelly Oubre.
And next, the future logo of the NBA. He's built like a rhinoceros. Get your berets out and put your hands together for Quebec's very own boisterous beast, Luguentz Dort.
Obviously an alternate's favorite. Go back an episode or two and hear some new things that you maybe didn't know about him. Of course, he is the future logo of this league. Not much else needs to be said about the Dort man.
And down low, and by that I mean he's usually laying on the sideline floor. He's quite literally the biggest nerd in the NBA. He may have a twin, but he's one of a kind. The only man whose character is bigger than his hair, Robin Lopez.
Wow, another phenomenal pick down low here for Brian's Alt-Stars. Of course, your favorite mascot's least favorite player and a wrestling legend and Disney legend, Robin Lopez.
And off the bench, they say the loneliest place on an NBA court is the free throw line. If you find yourself on this desolate island, have no fear. This Jurassic predator is near. Toronto's titular, the Raptor.
Wow, stunning pick here for six man. But you gotta think that this season he's been playing with nobody in the stands. And of course, his famous moment against Devin Booker the other week probably got him this spot. First time six-man winner. Great news for the Raptor here.
Wow, these are some incredible teams that we have put together.
These are some phenomenal teams. Let's go through them a little bit here and recap.
Okay, so on the Clayton Alt-Stars, we've got Coach Nick Nurse, Captain LaMelo Ball, Emmanuel Quickley, Bruce Brown, Jaden McDaniels, Montrezl Harrell, and Lou Williams off the bench.
Yep.
You went for scoring.
All offense.
You might have just put together the Washington Wizards.
It's a very Wizardsy team. You're not wrong.
I'm very impressed. I put together the exact opposite, a team that doesn't want anyone to score. Coached by Taylor Jenkins. I think one of the most underrated coaches. Maybe not. He should win Coach of the Year this year. Led by Boban Marjanovic. He took on John Wick. He could easily take on the Clayton All-Stars. And then he's got Patrick Beverley, Kelly Oubre, Lou Dort, Robin Lopez on the court with them, with the Raptor coming off the bench.
Yeah, no surprise. Your team kind of resembles an Orlando Magic team or something.
That's very fair, and I completely deserve that. Well, huge congratulations to everybody who made their first Alt-Star appearance.
Yeah, super happy for all the first-time Alt-Stars here. We haven't been able to work these into NBA contracts yet, but we're working on it.
Yeah, they will definitely be getting Alt dollars.
Yes.
Speaking of Alt dollars, let's fucking keep the suits on and go straight to the Casino of Clayton. What do we got going on in the casino for All-Star Weekend?
All right, so in this week's Bet Brains, we are going to do all All-Stars bets.
Love it.
But before we get into that, let's recap last week's and
no,
see where we're
don't
at.
Have to.
Let's
really
just
don't
we're going to do it real quick. Don't worry. All right, so the first game we had Atlanta at Boston on Sunday. I had the Hawks winning the tip and scoring first. You put 75 alternates dollars on it. Boston won the tip. Atlanta did score first, but you lost the bet.
Yeah, I threw my remote through the television as soon as Tip Lord apparently is his name.
You had me very nervous texting me saying that you thought Al Horford was jumping, and I was very scared of the bet I had just made. But thank God Time Lord is tipping there. Okay, all right. So second bet, we had Knicks at Portland Saturday. Quite a barn burner of a game.
Yeah.
Portland, I had Portland scoring 100 first. You put $50 on it. In the fourth quarter, it was 99-98 Portland. Knicks come down, score a 3, ends up 101-99. The bet loses, but the Blazers go on to win the game 112-103. Maybe that provides a little solace for you?
Provides absolutely nothing for me. The Knicks have been disappointing to me in every direction possible.
Yeah, I was a bummer. All right. And
was it? Was it the house a bummer?
Well, yeah. No, not that part, but the Knicks were a bummer.
Yeah.
All right, Houston at Utah on Monday. I had Houston going over 80% from the free throw line. They didn't really get that close. They shot a pitiful 68% from the line. You lost.
I did lose, and I lost twice, because if I'm going to lose this bet, at least shoot 69%, so it's somewhat fun for me.
Yeah, the Rockets, just don't bet on them. That might be a good thing, too. That's
your safest
some free
bet
advice out there. Do not bet on the Rockets. Okay, so like I said, we have 3 bets this week. Try and recoup your $175 loss last week, but they're all All-Star bets. So I'm stoked about these. The first one here I have is the All-Star Game. I've got Luka Doncic, Steph Curry, and Jason Tatum combined over 17.5 3-pointers made plus 300 odds.
Love this bet. Love it. It's the All-Star Game. Nobody's playing defense. Wide open threes. The only thing that makes me nervous here is Steph Curry loves to dunk in the All-Star Game.
Yeah.
So he's actually the one who makes me nervous about it, but I still love it. I'm putting $100 on this bet.
Love that. And, in the past, Steph Curry has gotten a lot of 3-point attempts up as well.
Yeah.
So we will see. Okay, and the next one here is the 3-point contest. Now, this line has shifted with Vegas. So I'm going to explain what I'm going to give you 2 options here.
Okay.
One, you can take one of the 3 favorites, which are currently Trae Young, Patty Mills, and Fred VanVleet. They all have plus 425 odds. I will give you those odds.
Okay.
So you can choose one of those 3, or you can have the alt version, which is any of the bottom 3 win. And those three are Zach LaVine, CJ McCollum, Karl Towns. They all have the three longest odds. I would give you plus 700 if any of those three win.
Okay, so I could take the Vegas odds. I'm trying to think of a way to like eloquently put this. Oh, fuck Vegas. Let's go alts on this. I love the bottom three. I know that if any one of those guys wins, I win the bet. But I just want to say, I am pulling so hard for Zach LaVine now. I'm putting $50 down because I think that Zach LaVine, we talked about useless records. I'm going for one here. I think he's going to become the first player in NBA history to win a dunk contest and a three-point contest.
He will also be the first player to win a three-point contest coming off an MRI. Okay. And my last one here, one that's near and dear to your heart, the slam dunk contest. You hyped up a guy in it, Cole Anthony, and I'd like you to put your money where your mouth is. I've got Cole Anthony getting a 50 and any dunk, just 150 at plus 720 odds.
Wow. So I'm only putting $25 on this bet.
Coward.
Now, you can call me a coward.
Coward.
It has nothing to do with a lack of faith in Cole Anthony and more to do with the judging in the contest. We've seen Dwayne Wade completely throw off a contest for no reason whatsoever other than to just make people crazy. I don't trust them to give him a 50. I think he could still win it, although usually it's like some random dude that ends up winning the contest. But I've got zero faith in the judges, so I'm only giving you 25 on this one.
All right, so quick little recap here. We got the All-Star game. Luka, Steph, and Tatum over 17.5 threes. You put $100. 3-point contest. You picked any of LaVine, McCollum, or Karl Towns to win. You put $50 on that. And then in the slam dunk contest, Cole Anthony getting a 50. You put $25 on that. We'll come back next week and see how you did.
Yeah, I'm hoping to recoup my losses from last week.
We shall see.
So I think All-Star Weekend's going to come through for me. Thank you for setting those lines. Thank you all for joining us. That is going to be today's episode. We really appreciate you being here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel before you get out of here. It really, really does help us out and getting the show off the ground and getting it out there. We will be back Tuesday. There will be no games between now and then, which means Tuesday's episode, we are going to play games. We are going to inject games into the All-Star break. And so we will be playing Start Today, where we crown a champion during no gameplay.
Yeah.
We're going to be playing 3-pack. I can't wait to see what you have lined up for me there. Fun little trivia segment. And then, of course, it's Tuesday. That can only mean one thing. It's duo jam time.
Yes.
So we will be picking our duo jams for the second half of that week as games resume. What do we have taking us out today?
All right, we got a fun, mean little hardcore song by a band called Corrode from Western Massachusetts. The song is called Suffocation, and it's off their 2018 Age of Ruin self-released cassette.
Incredible. Thank you all so much. We'll see you in a couple days.
Thank you.